Hello, and welcome to another update on Bitcoin. The price continues to hover around the golden ratio level. Very important support. I mean, the CME gap got closed. That was located here around 117K. Talked about that in the last video. It's important when we track the CME gap that we actually use the chart from the CME exchange, or the CME is the name of the exchange. So it got closed. I mean, so it was basically already closed here at the red line. Okay, you know, you could say, okay, maybe this bit was still open. It's now closed anyway. So we'll see if we get a bounce the weekend. I'd prefer that because if we look at the FIB levels here, and if we zoom out a little bit, then, I mean, we can see that there are still the two scenarios we talked about earlier today and yesterday. Still have a scenario as highlighted in white, in which this was wave 1, this was wave 2, this was wave 3, wave 4, wave 5. And I gotta say, actually, with this scenario, I probably would have to move the third wave over here, because this does look like 5 waves down, and it could be a completed C wave in wave 4, but it really doesn't have a great impact. So I'll leave it for now to keep it simple where it is. We're holding that 61.8 FIB level, the golden ratio level, so I keep the scenario where it is. What we would like to see from here is a bit of a bounce. I mean, the higher we go, and ideally the higher we go potentially in a 5-wave move, the more and higher the probability is that a low is already in, and that we're on our way to new all-time highs more directly. But based on the microstructure, I mean, to me, it looks a little bit more like this yellow scenario, which means we have actually completed a potential 5-wave move up. Wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5. So we get actually 5 waves completed already. And, you know, with that 5-wave move up, it means that afterwards, this should get corrected, right? And, you know, what do we get after 5 waves? Well, typically we would get a 3-wave decline. So you get 5 waves in one direction, and those 5 waves should normally be corrected. Basically, it's a counter trend move. Yeah, markets can't always move just in one direction. So it's about breathing in and breathing out, right? That's completely normal in markets. So when we have a 5-wave move up, then afterwards we should get this corrective pullback. And this is also where now this B wave bounce comes into play. Now I don't predict the B wave, but I would like to see it from here. I don't see any start yet, but obviously let's say the bulls are trying, right? They're trying. They're holding support here. We start to see some divergences. I'm going to show you that in a minute. I think we should, so we'll double check that. The higher now the B wave, the higher the probability that in any decline in the C wave, the price holds 114,470. This is going to be important support in this particular scenario. Now, what we want to see next is, a B wave that ideally gets to, I'd say, at least 120,640, possibly 121,450. And if the bounce remains a 3-wave move, then yellow remains very likely. If we get 5 waves up, then white might get more likely. But in both counts, I'm still watching for higher prices, but need to see the structure of the next bounce. A bounce is very likely from here. Would like to see it. Wanted to see it here already, but to be honest, not much happened. Still holding support. We formed a marginally lower low, but as I said, we can probably identify divergences. Need to use the 4-hour chart for that. Let's see if we actually see one. No, there's no divergence yet, actually, on the 4-hour chart. There isn't. The 1-hour, you see one, but it's actually not a valid divergence. Not really, because you have more than 40 candles here. I think you probably do have. Maybe it is one, but not a very clear one. But anyway, you see the downside momentum just visually kind of decreases, right? From this rapid sell-off, now a marginally lower low, okay? So 2-hour chart. Yeah, there isn't really... The MACD shows a divergence there on the histogram. Not on the MACD line, though. So I think we'll just see if the bulls react to the golden ratio level. It would be ideal. Would like to see a bit of a bounce. The higher the bounce, the higher the probability that actually support will hold. I'm not talking about necessarily... let me go to the 30-minute chart. I'm not talking about necessarily support here at the golden ratio level, but more here, down here. This is important support at $114,470, because for this wave 2 pullback, yeah, this is the last relevant support, really. So yeah, that's the update on Bitcoin. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also, I invite you to join us on X for additional updates. Feel free to join us here. There are news, updates, mindset stuff, memes, Elliott Wave tips, and all sorts of stuff. Check it out. You'll find the link in the description. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.